I just came back from Tokyo, and one thing I know for sure now is that you need to plan your trips to the smallest of details. Japan is basically in everyone's bucket list right now. There are so many people. So, I have got 10 things that you should definitely know before you go to this country, and this will help you make your trip much easier, much easier than mine was. And without wasting much time, let's get into it. Number one, you absolutely need to carry your passport everywhere you travel. There are two reasons for that. One would be the fact that you need your passport to shop and claim tax-free benefits when you are shopping at bigger stores. A lot of places have tax-free option for tourists, and they advertise it saying tax-free just like this. And if you shop over 5,500 yen, which is very easy to achieve, you can get the tax-free benefit. And to get that benefit, you need to present your passport. There's a QR code on the passport. They scan that, and without that, they can't really process the tax-free things. So you should have it at all times. And secondly, because a lot of times I have heard that police stop foreigners and ask for their identification, and you need to present your passport at that time. I don't know what happens if you don't, but I'm guessing you might get in trouble. So don't take the chance and keep a passport with you at all times. Number two, since Tokyo is so crowded and Japan is absolutely going crazy at the moment, you need to reserve spots for every single place you want to visit if it is popular. For example, Shibuya Sky, Ichiran Ramen, Team Lab Planets, Team Lab Borderless, all of these places you need to have your reservations in place for the days you want to visit, otherwise you'll miss it. I wanted to go to Shibuya Sky myself, and I thought, oh, I'm going in off season, I'll just leave it to the last day and see how it fits in my itinerary, if I want to do it or not. The day I wanted to go, I checked that morning, everything was booked out for the next, I think, 2-3 weeks. I also wanted to do Pokemon Cafe. I think that was booked out for the next 2 months. So that's how crazy it can get. And this was off season. So you can imagine how crazy it will be during peak season. So make sure you're making your reservations well in advance. Make your itinerary, list out all the places you want to go to, and make those reservations, because it is going to be very difficult to get a spot at the last minute. Also, while we are talking about crowds, I really want to point out that if you have reservations in place for a certain time, it is not possible to enter that place at that time. You need to wait. People love to queue up over there, I have seen. If a place has queue, it's good and they have their things in stock, and if there's no queue at a popular place, that means they're sold out. I had a ticket to enter Team Labs at 9:30 a.m. I waited for half an hour to enter, and that was the first slot. People had lined up and the queue was going like around 30 minutes. Is very normal to wait over there. Number four, you need to remember that you will be walking a lot in Japan. Especially if you're going to Tokyo, you will be walking more than 10,000 steps a day easily. I was doing more than 20,000 steps every single day, and on the days when I was trying to minimize my steps, I still did about 17,000 steps. So it is very normal to walk that much in Tokyo, and that is why, remember one thing, keep good walking shoes. I was wearing, I think, Air Max, and they're normally very good shoes to just like walk in and do like a little bit of city walking. But trust me, by the end of my day, every single day, I had such terrible backache because I had walked so much, and those shoes are not for walking that long distances. So I was struggling. There was a point where I was thinking I should buy another pair of shoes. I was looking at New Balances. I had to pop in painkillers to like let my back soothe a little bit. Walking is inevitable there, so you need to have comfortable shoes. Don't forget them. You'll regret it if you do. And number five, while we're talking about walking, remember this unsaid rule in Tokyo, in Japan. Don't eat and walk, or don't even drink and walk. For example, if you have your coffee and stuff, don't drink and walk. Stand somewhere, finish up your food or drink, and then start walking. And so to make this experience easier, a lot of convenience stores, especially 7-Eleven and Family Mart, have multiple floors where you can go up there and sit and finish up your food before you leave. Sitting and eating or standing and eating is considered respectful towards your food and towards the locals, I guess. I don't know the actual reason behind it, but it's good. Don't eat and walk. The next tip I have for you is to keep a separate trash bag in your purse. or your bag, whatever you're carrying, because there are barely any trash cans in Japan, and you will mostly find them in convenience stores, but you can't really go in there and throw your trash in. This is because of the garbage disposal laws over there, but finding a dustbin or trash can, whatever you call it, is very hard in Japan. So it's convenient to keep a trash bag with yourself and put your trash in there and take it with you and throw it at your hotel or wherever you find the next dustbin. Just because you can't find a dustbin, it does not mean that you can just throw your trash anywhere. Japan is a very, very clean country, and I'm sure you will get fined if you just throw your trash anywhere you feel like. Now let's learn a few things about the train etiquette in Tokyo. That's what I'm going to call it, train etiquette, because there are a few unsaid rules and said rules about traveling in Tokyo trains and Japanese trains that I feel you should know about these things. Firstly, do not talk loudly. Like, as soon as you enter the trains, you will see there's like dead silence in there. So also it feels very awkward to talk when there's so much silence. I think the locals prefer it to be silent, and since there are so many tourists, I feel it's nice to be respectful towards their manners and etiquette. So if you plan to get into the trains, make sure you don't make a nuisance. And that also includes the fact that you can't have your phone on ringing. So there's signages in Tokyo trains that say put your phone on silent and avoid talking over the phone. If you want to talk, whisper and disconnect your call quickly. Apart from that, you also need to have a Suica or Pasmo card, which I actually have mentioned a lot about in my last video. There are a lot of details about how to use Tokyo trains and how to understand Google Maps to use Tokyo trains. So if you have not watched that video, you should go there right now and watch it. It's very useful. I have shared everything you need to know to plan your trip to Tokyo. So I would highly recommend you to go and watch it if you have not. Okay. Another thing about trains, if you plan to use them, is study Google Maps properly. See what it says. It tells you the platform number, the trains, the train line, the station number you need to get off at, which car would be the best for you to get onto for the fastest exit or the fastest transfer. All those kinds of details are all mentioned in Google Maps. So use that. You don't need any other app for like traveling in Tokyo or in Japan itself. And the last thing you need to remember about Tokyo trains is the fact that they don't run between midnight and 5 a.m. So if you plan to go out and party at night or stuff, you need to remember the train schedules. Number 8. While you are on the train stations, you will notice that there are some arrows pointing to the direction and on the side on which you should be walking on. And that is mostly on the left. So if you're walking, walk on the left. If you're standing on escalators, stand on the left. Let people get out first and then board a train or a bus or wherever you're going, but let people out first and then go in. And you will also notice that people in Tokyo are super organized. Like, even if they're walking in crowds, they'll make sure that they are sticking to one side and the other side is left for oncoming people. So it's very, very interesting to see how chaotic or crowded a place can be, but at the same time it is so organized as well. One thing I really loved about eating out in Tokyo was the fact that there's no tipping culture. Tipping culture does not exist in Japan, and you don't really need to leave tips like you need to do in North America. So if you're going out to eat, just pay whatever comes out in the bill, and that is it. And make sure when you're paying, if there's a little tray on the counter, you don't hand over your cash directly to the person. You put your cash in the tray and slide it towards the person. So that's how you do your transaction. And also, if you're eating out and there is no table service, you need to put your dishes back to the counter. And lastly, one thing you will be loving if you are someone who likes to wake up late is the fact that restaurants and cafes open super late. Like, they start operating at around 10-11 a.m. and they go on till like midnight or stuff, so that compensates. But you won't find good cafes and restaurants open early in the morning for breakfast even. If you're someone like me who likes to start their day early, have coffee first thing in the morning at 7 or 8 a.m. and then start the day early so you don't really get to see the crowds that much, you are in for a treat because you won't find anything. I woke up early a couple of days and I realized that there's nothing open, so I basically had to get coffee from vending machines. I could not really try good Japanese cafes because like by the time they opened up, I was somewhere else. My breakfast time was gone. So yeah, this is something that I struggled with. If you're also same like me, you will struggle with it. And let's come down to the details of how much I spent in Japan. I realized that I went over my budget, and this is only the cost of things I spent on, which does not come down to my personal cost like shopping and everything. I spent a lot on shopping as well, which I'm not going to tell you right now. But let's see how much I spent on. So I stayed in a capsule hotel for 3 nights, and it was 170 Canadian dollars for 3 nights. I used $70 on trains, or to be precise, $71.74. Food and drinks cost me $55 for 3 days. I was traveling solo, and I'm a very cheap eater because I can't really handle big portions. So I was eating very, very cheap things. So it ended up costing me $55. And then I bought a SIM card for $31.65. Travel insurance cost me $13.60. I use Safety Wing travel insurance. If you are looking for something that's cheap and it's like it covers everything, check out Safety Wing. I have put down the referral link below in the description box, so check it out. It's really cheap and it covers everything. It's like one of the best travel insurance I have used, and I am like a regular user of that. Then after travel insurance, I paid $8 for my e-visa because Indian passport is not eligible for the visa-free option. So I had to get an e-visa, and it cost me $8. I also went for 3 activities: one sushi class for $65, Team Lab Planets for $25, and a private Tokyo tour for $106. If I add some miscellaneous things, another $25. I did not spend much on miscellaneous stuff. In total, I spent $570.34 for 4 days traveling solo in Japan. My daily spend came down to 142 Canadian dollars, which is almost about 100 USD. And these were the 10 amazing travel tips that I have for you. These are the things that I observed, I experienced, I noticed, I got to know before my trip, during my trip, and I have it out all for you. And if you have not watched my previous videos, please go ahead and watch them, because I have put in so much effort to create all these itineraries and these travel guides for you. You will love them. These are the 2 videos, and I'm sure you will have a great time watching them. If you have any feedback about these types of videos, do let me know in the comment section. If you have any questions about these videos or Japan or Tokyo itself, let me know in the comment section again, and I'll see you next week. Bye.